What if I told you that a 300 years old piece of music can revolutionize your guitar playing? Bach's Prelude in C minor isn't for piano players anymore. We are about to transform this piece into a killer exercise that will bring your right hand and your left hand playing to the next level. But warning, this exercise is for intermediate guitar players, so you should have played serious guitar for 2 or 3 years now. And now let's check out today's lesson. Here we go. In the early 18th century, the godfather of composition, Johann Sebastian Bach, wrote this book here, the Well-Tempered Piano Book, das wohltemperierte Klavierbuch. Preludes and fugues in every key. Damn, that must have been a revolutionary time. And 310 years later, a little punk named Justin had to learn something out of this book to get his degree in studying music, so he chose the Prelude in C minor. A really fast, really cool single note kind of piece with some really interesting arpeggios in it. But at that time, Justin was not really interested in playing the piano. He was more interested in, playing the guitar, his main instrument. So he was always on the quest for new exercises that will boost his technique in the right and the left hand. And yeah, my little buddy Yngwie can definitely agree with that. He saw and he realized there's some potential in this piece. Ooh, wow, these kind of arpeggios, you can play them pretty well on the guitar, and wow, this is a really good exercise for the left and the right hand. And today we're going to check out why this is a really good exercise and why every serious guitar player should take a look at this. But first of all, if you want to have the tabs and a full lesson and in-depth analysis of this piece and this little etude, then check the link in the description box. There you can download it for free. And if you want to practice it with me together on my Patreon page, I've created some workouts where we are going to practice through this piece together in 4 different levels. So check it out, test the 40-day trial of the 2nd level, or start with only $5 a month. Guitar Champion, I'm Justin Hornbach, back from my practice cave, and welcome to today's video. So first, let us take a look into the right hand. The main pattern for the right hand is often a string skipping inside picking pattern, where we first start off playing 1 note on the G string and then playing 3 notes on the A string. So you can practice your right hand individually with this pattern as well. But what should we do so if it sounds clean like this and not like this? Well, the key is here, of course, again, pick slanting, yay! Our almighty technique for changing the strings. So what we have to do is, the first note is in downstroke, and therefore we need upward pick slanting to have the tip of the pick free in the air so it can move wherever it wants. For example, here to the A string, without touching the D string. Super easy, super cool. Now, but when we want to go back to the G string, we end with an upstroke, and therefore we need downward pick slanting to have the tip of the pick, again, free in the air to go to the G string again. Now, in between this, we're also adding another note here on the A string, and then we are playing again 4 notes on the A string, the pedal note pattern, which I'm going to describe a little bit more when we're talking about the left hand, but now it's only right hand. Super cool, super fun thing, and don't be afraid or intimidated of the inside picking. Again, with the right approach of pick slanting, it's really easy to get used to this kind of string skip. So okay, this is the reason why this is a really good exercise for the right hand, because inside picking with string skipping is something that we have a lot of times, often for example in a rhythm guitar. For example, riffs like, or for example, okay, now let's move on to the left hand. Now for the patterns in the left hand, we are outlining in a pretty cool way certain chord progressions, and there we're going to add to each individual arpeggio really interesting option notes like the 9th, the 11th, all these kind of things. Really cool. It is like Bach already said,
"Hey, future guitar player, you know what? Check this out. This is a really cool riff."
And there Bach is totally right. So let's check out the left hand. Now for the left hand, we're playing most of the time an octave on the G and on the A string. Sometimes it can change and vary a little bit, that we have more kind of the fifths and we are going to the D string instead of the G string, so we have a little bit of variation in it. But for example, let's take a look at the first pattern that we have in this kind of piece. We are outlining a C minor chord. We're going from the C, the root note, to the minor third, and then we have this kind of chromatical approach. It's not really chromatical approach because we have the 9th here, but we have the E flat, our minor third, more as a pedal note. We're always going back to and playing around with the D or adding the D to it to give it a more kind of C minor 9 arpeggio, C minor 9 vibe. Then we're going to the octave that I've already mentioned here on the A string. And then we're playing again the pattern here with the E flat and the D. So we have now this, for example, is already a really cool pattern that you can use in so many licks, riffs, whatever. You could turn this into a riff like, whatever. And then we are blasting like that through the whole kind of piece. Now the next really cool thing is the usage of each individual finger in this kind of piece, in the whole piece. For example, in the first pattern we have a really cool mixture or combination out of our pinky and the ring finger, which are always kind of hard to separate and to play individually. So here that's a really good exercise as well. But as well we also have to move a lot our index finger, which is really great, because in my opinion for most players the index finger is actually the weakest finger, because it has to do really nothing on the fretboard. You know, imagine when we're playing Bach chords, the index finger is often just laying around here. When we're playing pentatonic stuff, especially more in the rock kind of vibe, the index fingers are often just laying around, not really moving too much. But when it comes to a little bit more of progressive playing or a little bit more virtuoso playing, especially when we're playing with left hand only, we need the strength of the index finger for playing all these hammer-on from nowheres, or even when we want to do modern techniques like selective picking, we need the strengths of the index finger. And this kind of piece is a really good one to work on the index finger strength, because it's not laying around like a really lazy piece of shit. It really has to move. The next good thing for the left hand here are the stretches. We have to face a lot of really interesting stretches. So again, this is a warning, this is more for intermediate player. So if you have a not so well developed left hand technique, where your thumb is always in the proper position, where everything else is in a really good position, angled guitar, have it up spaced here, not here, all these kind of little details. When you are aware of these, then I can recommend to continue. But when you're still playing like this, you know, the bluesy kind of thing with the thumb here and your arm is doing some weird stuff, I would not recommend to learn this piece. You couldn't, because those stretches are not possible with a good left hand technique. So now what are some stretches that we have? We have, for example, this really interesting here, where we have to stretch from the 3rd fret of the G string to the pinky on the 8th fret of the A string. Of course, we're not playing each note simultaneously, we're playing each note individually. So what we can do is we can jump around. So this is a really good exercise as well for our wrist to jump So this is a really good exercise to work on the switch between stretched position and closed position. And by that, doing this all the time, we also have a really great exercise for endurance. Because those stretches, they are really intense for this kind of muscle here. And yes, I got stung by a mosquito here. Nice. So again, with this piece, we can work on the control in the right hand and in the left hand. And it really helped me to become the next level of intermediate player back in the day. So this piece really shaped some technical abilities that are now beneficial for me. And besides that, it makes a lot of fun to play and to listen to. It's a really cool piece. So check it out in the link in the description box to learn it, and check out my Patreon to practice it with me together. So much about that. I wish you a lot of fun and really great time learning, practicing and mastering this piece. If you want to support me, then subscribe to this channel. I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Cheers so far and power your progress. Bye.